No, it's okay. You can get up as much as you want.
Don't say that. You'll regret it.
Just like start walking around the room. Cool. Well, we got Sex Cells here in the building. Thank you guys for joining me. Sex Cells is a great name. It's a little tough if you have a lisp, I noticed, which I do a little bit, so sometimes it slips out. But it's still a great name.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
We'll change it if
I just got called out on my own podcast.
Whatever's easiest for you, Parker.
No, thank you guys for coming. We have a lot to share here with our album picks and our first book pick ever for the podcast, Man and His Symbols, Carl Jung, a book I've only read maybe 45 pages of. So let's talk about why you guys picked 3 incredible albums: Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks and Rainbows by Radiohead, my favorite ever of all time, and then Ram by Paul McCartney, and then we'll get to the book.
You can go first.
No, we got to go in the order that they were introduced. That would mean you go.
Blood on the
I
Tracks.
don't remember the order. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. Can we curse here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course.
So I guess I picked Blood on the Tracks because before coming here today, I was brainstorming potential questions that you might ask, and one of them was about favorite album, and then it had like, you put like a S in the... Anyway, and I narrowed it down to 3, and one of them was Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan, which is probably the best representative of my favorite album from the ages of like 4 to 14, I guess. And then In Rainbows is probably the best pick for ages like 14 to like 24, I guess. And then there's a third one that will remain a mystery because it's not here right now.
It's undecided.
And that would be 24 to present. And I'm 26.
It's not Sex Cells' debut EP.
Definitely
we're probably
not.
going
We
to be
don't listen
friends,
to
so
our
let's get this
music.
over with already.
That is in... No.
No, it's not. Not in the running.
No.
But
I do
maybe
like
the
it
debut album.
Definitely. Oh, that's my favorite of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's still in the ether.
Yeah, I'd like to think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Ram by Paul McCartney? What made you pick this one, Zach?
Because it's the indie album ever.
True.
It's an excellent album. Paul McCartney's my favorite Beatle. I know that's not a hot take or anything. He's very good bassist.
True.
And his song structure and just the way that he approaches building that album is wild. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, this was produced when? And this is hitting so many points that a lot of the albums that I'm into right now are, just musically, tonally, and for the life of me, I cannot remember. What was his wife's name?
Linda.
Thank you. How could I forget Linda McCartney's
How could we
name?
forget Linda McCartney?
Apparently pretty easily.
Yeah, evidently pretty easily.
Super
Not-
quickly.
Kind of rude.
But that's because I'm bad with names, not because she's forgettable, because she certainly isn't. She sings a lot in this album.
It's a you thing.
It's a me thing. No, it totally is.
It's not a Linda thing.
Since I walked in the door, I've been reciting your name over and over and over in my head.
What is it?
Parker.
So close.
Yes.
Almost. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god!
It's right there on the sign.
Whoa, there's...
My heart rate just spiked. No.
So close.
You got that recorded. She does some fun wailing on there, and
does.
singing real deep like, and it's just so cool. It's so much fun. Yeah,
It's a great one, man.
It's
It
a
took
great
me
album.
a minute to really appreciate every track, and I'm still working on appreciating Monkberry Moon Delight. That's a tough one for me
That's
to
the
listen
best
to.
one.
No,
so
you
much
gotta be
fun.
kidding me right now.
That's
You kick off your shoes and just
It's
romp around a bit.
5
throw up your
minutes
fists.
long.
It
It's
is
the
lo- it
longest
is
song
long.
on the album.
It is too long. I agree with you there.
If it was a minute and a half, I'd be like, oh, it's kind of funny, like it's cute, but he committed,
Keeps
which I
going.
mean, respect in that way, but like I'm skipping it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's complete.
Every
I'll
other
pass you
song
there.
is
Yeah.
literally perfect, and that one I was just like, I'm like, damn, like he really committed to this. Not one person was like, maybe B-side, you know?
It's Paul McCartney. You don't tell Paul McCartney, no, I'm sorry, this isn't gonna work.
That would be tough.
And he self-produced this too.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty amazing.
Especially you, Don.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's true. Nobody could. Only
Yeah.
himself. Only his higher
Dangerous
self
business. Yeah.
could have intervened. And then let's talk about Man and His Symbols, the first book ever picked as a display here. Man and His Symbols, Carl Jung. We talked about it briefly before we started, but I have not read much. I read a little bit because I wanted to get really witchy and like put symbols in like music videos and stuff, and didn't quite give me the blueprint,
that you were expecting.
Yeah, and the first few pages were like basically saying if you there's no way to like really interpret dreams and stuff because everybody has different meanings to symbols. I'm like, okay, great. Well, now what? Like,
why did I buy this?
Why did I buy this? I was trying to brainwash people. But what made you pick this, Elizabeth?
Before I answer, would you mind switching spots with me? Actually, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Just because I think I'm going to keep forgetting to lean into the microphone.
Up
and
to
I
you.
talk kind of quietly.
Yeah.
I can also
Cool.
turn you up, but yeah, let's do the old switcheroo.
Cool.
All right. Cue intermission music.
You weren't kidding about the getting up thing. Nice.
Hello.
I'll make sure to cut right here so nobody heard any of that conversation. We're just
Okay.
in different places now.
Good.
I'm just kidding. I won't do that.
I also have only read like 35 pages of that book myself, but the author Carl Jung is really influential in the realm of like personality psychology and theory and stuff like that. And I've read a lot of his other stuff, and I think he's very cool. And I actually have a copy of that book myself, and it's a cool edition that I found one time in that it's like old. It's really not that cool. That one looks cooler, but yeah.
It looked really cool, and it was only like $7, which was part of the reason why I got it. And I've heard of Carl Jung, and not much. I don't know too much about him, but
We got an ink blot test, an Ouroboros. What is that? A fertility statue?
yeah. See, I was like, oh, maybe
Okay.
I can figure out creative ways to draw Ouroboroses in my
Yeah.
album covers and
Album
get
covers
people to.
anymore.
Who knows,
Yeah.
But is there any other like Carl Jung recs you can give me that will keep me interested for longer than a few chapters?
I think I forget what it's called, but it's called like the 4 types or something like that. And it's a really, whatever it is, it's kind of goes into like cognitive functions, and I'm not going to start talking about Myers-Briggs this early.
can.
I
Come on,
can't.
do it. You
I'm not going
Wait, is
to.
that
Do it.
INFJ and that stuff?
Yeah.
I forgot what I am, but something close to that.
I'm an INFJ, believe it or not.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
so
Is-
good guess.
Is the last one
Yeah.
P?
Yeah,
I think I might be that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll figure it out later,
yeah. Or you won't. You probably won't.
or I won't.
It's a lot.
It's a bunch of questions, right?
Yeah, but the test is like around, they estimate like 50% inaccurate, especially when it's self-administered.
Oh,
And so you can't, the test might indicate, so really all the tests that you'll take online will answer, for those of you listening at home, is how you perceive yourself in relation to the questions when you are answering the test, which can be radically different from person to person and day to day, really, depending on other factors. But the theory behind it and the cognitive function stacks that are represented by the types that you could type as and test as in theory are very, very interesting, both on like an individual and collective basis. So in that way, I don't remember the question, but I thought the cover of the book was of this one was really cool.
yeah. The cover
And
is
colorful.
very cool.
Yeah.
I'm about to take the Enneagram test
What is
my
that?
my mom just took it and she was like, "You should do it." It's
Yeah. Like
it's-
the 9 numbers,
yes,
right? Yeah.
and you're a number 1 through 9, and that
Oh, it's like,
is a personality basically. I don't know.
I think I did take that once. There was.
You did?
Yeah. At our, actually where Elizabeth and
remember
I
what you
met, I think it was like I really don't. I'd be just shooting in the dark. I was about to say 7, but 7 numbers with 7 are my favorite numbers.
There you
So
go.
I don't know if I'm just remembering that or if I'm making it up. I don't know. I don't remember. I can say with confidence I don't remember.
Oh.
But I remember I took it.
Yeah.
And that was followed by a test to find out which 100-acre wood character are you.
It sounds like a Facebook quiz.
It was. They started.
Is that Winnie
they
the
started
Pooh?
setting, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got Tigger.
Tigger.
That's so Shocking.
I can see
Eyes
Yeah.
rolling.
I want to be Piglet so bad,
Piglet would be pretty sweet.
but I don't think I am.
Get like a Roo or something.
Yeah.
Who's the Eeyore?
Just in general.
Now, yeah,
that
we
you
could do
know.
it like in the
Like
band.
who in the band is
Oh.
the Eeyore?
Unfortunately, I think. Why don't you answer
About the name?
first?
No, I don't want to fucking name drop. That's you go
Okay.
first. Well, I think
I can't do this. Jack is definitely
You're
Winnie the
feeling a little
Pooh.
attacked.
you were gonna say Jack was Winnie the Pooh.
No,
Okay.
he's Christopher Robin.
Aw.
Is Christopher Robin the main character or Pooh?
Yeah.
That's a
No,
I
Christopher.
think it's Winnie the Pooh, right? Is the
You
main
would
because it's
think.
about. I mean, Christopher Robin is like not even there in all the scenes.
yeah.
No, that's
He's also
Is
the
Winnie
only human.
there in every scene?
you could argue that Winnie is in fact the main character, but they are all figments of his imagination. Christopher Robin's.
Is that how it goes? I've
Yeah.
never actually seen the show. I don't.
Oh,
think.
really? I grew up
No.
watching.
There's a
Winnie
show?
The Pooh. Yeah, there are movies.
I was thinking about like the little
books?
kid. Yeah.
The book.
Yeah. I think the books came first.
They did. Yeah.
Per usual, you know.
Have you seen like the original dolls that universe is based on?
Yeah.
No.
You
They're
should.
So wait, the dolls came before the book.
Oh yeah, I think.
Well, and they were
Like
they were
the
like
doll, like
stuffies.
the author like had these like
okay.
I'll show them later. I'll show them later. They're really they're weird.
They look like old stuffed animals.
Yeah, that's always creepy.
Yeah.
My mom has this old ass doll that is still in my grandparents' house, and every time I go and have to like sleep in this room, there's a doll in a rocking chair with like
no.
one eye that's like
Oh,
flitting up
what?
and down. Yeah, it's terrifying. We called her Dolly, but I have to put her in the closet every time
Yeah.
I go because I
Is she
can't have her
haunted?
looking at. She looks haunted. It's like, you know, like her face is kind of decrepit and her clothes are tattered, and I hear things at night when she's there. But it's like,
Oh, that's
you know,
terrible.
it's cool. Anyway,
It's fine. It's
yeah.
whatever. And we move on.
Yeah. Now on to the seance portion of the interview. No, let's
Cool.
let's talk
Bring out
about
Dolly.
the EP, because the EP rules, and I've been listening to it a lot over the last
thanks.
few days. Yeah, it's awesome. Once again, the name is "We're Probably Going to Be Friends," so let's get this over with already. Usually I don't ask about like specifics about names of bands or things like that, but I have to ask what inspired this very long name and where did it come from?
So it came from one of the members of the original lineup of Sex Cells, and we kind of decided on the EP name in a very similar way to the way that we decided on the band name, which was we had songs, we wanted to put them out in a certain capacity. We knew we needed a name, and so we all got to work on coming up with names and then going back and forth and being like, okay, we like this, we don't like this, this is what we like about that one, this is what we don't like about that one, like on an individual and group basis until it kind of got down to like 2 or 3 different names, and we just really liked that one. We thought it was funny. We thought it was silly. It's kind of, in a way, I don't want to say necessarily thematically tied to the exact 5 songs on the EP, but since I kind of look at the EP as like a representation of all of the fun we've had playing live for our
totally.
first year as a band together.
Exactly.
In that we put like a lot of care into it, and we were also like it's strong friendships and bonds and caring about each other, but also a lot of like kind of snarkiness and like you know, being kind of a jerk sometimes just for the fun of it in different ways. And yeah, it was unnecessarily long, funny to say, kind of, it's like sweet and sour, much like the candy, like Sour Patch Kids.
Don't talk to me about Sour Patch Kids.
Okay, I will not.
No, it's okay. You can, because it's my only like favorite candy, and I can't get enough of it.
That's a good
They're
one.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like stopped drinking about 6 months ago,
Oh, way
and
to
the
go.
Sour Patch intake has increased about 800%. Dude.
That's fun.
It is fucking wild. I've spent so much money on Sour Patch Kids the last 6 months. There's a bag in it. You can see it right there in the trash can. You can see the Sour Patch bag. I'm not playing around with Sour Patch.
What
I'm
do
sorry.
you like about, well, I guess the taste probably.
I like I've thought about this. I can control it. I can eat one at a time, or I can have a handful. if I have a candy bar, it's a lot harder for me to like portion size. I also just love sour in general. The texture is nice. Sour straws are a little too, like, I don't know, thin or like, okay, I'll stop it.
No. I
love
you're
the
giving a
directions
great
this goes
answer.
in.
Yeah.
I have a very specific reason why. And then you put them in the fridge or the freezer. Forget about it.
Really?
I've never done
Sour
that
Patch
with
Kids?
sour candy.
I have to shout
I've
out
never
my
done it
friend
with
Colin
gummies.
for telling me to do that. I thought he was crazy. But it really works because then they last longer.
Oh my god, that
Just try it at home, kids.
I know I will.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I just derailed you. Do you guys have an abbreviation when you say it? Like if you're just talking about the EP, or do you say the whole thing?
Never
we just
mentioned the
kinda
EP
call it-
name. We just call it the EP.
The EP.
Yeah, really.
That makes sense.
I think one of the things that we have many strengths, and for each strength, we have at least a half of one weakness as a unit. And one of those weaknesses, I think, is like initiating conversations about ourselves or what we do.
That's a
because we're very proud of it, and we know
big
that
one.
because we put so much work into everything that we do. But it's just I just don't really like. It's half of it is like I don't think to talk about it, and then the other half of it is like I just don't. I love when other people bring it up because I do love talking about it, but I just don't think that, not that I don't think that other people would be interested if they heard it, but I just forget now that like other people might hear it
Right.
and enjoy it as well.
It's because we're humble. Get over it.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't say that.
You came to the right podcast if you don't like to talk about your music.
Yeah.
No, you said you do like talking about it, but it can be weird when it's when you've spent so much time and energy and effort with people you love to make this thing, and it's like in the making for a year or so, and you've experienced every facet of what the song is and can be, and then finally when it's out, everybody's hearing it in its final form, and you in a way you've kind of checked out a little bit because you're so familiar with it, but to everyone else it's so new. You know, do you guys have that with do you experience that with other bands?
I mean, just like a general exhaust, where I've listened to a band too much, maybe. If that's still kind of hitting the same vein of what you just asked.
Yeah, that was kind of a bad question.
Full disclosure. Well, the question was pretty interesting, but in too many ways for my brain, I shot off in a different direction with it. And didn't. Could you re-ask the question so that
I also was confused by my own question.
Perfect.
Mainly like when is it weird when you put this album out and people kind of talk to you about it for their first, they've heard it for the first time and they're like, oh, this is awesome. And they talk about specific things. Like, does it bring up specific, do you remember it in a different way? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Well, yeah, sure. I'll go first. I remember, because was it you'd been in the studio before, right? Like even a little bit
outside of
Sex Cells. Yeah.
Not like that, but yes.
Well, it was my first time. This is my first band I've ever been a part of. So I am constantly having this inner battle of, am I saying enough? Am I being involved enough? And trying to just reacquaint myself with the situation, feel comfortable, and all throughout that recording process, what that feeling was heightened, and I was really stressed out and anxious. And it's very much I could have just talked about it and felt better about it, but also I felt like other people were experiencing some heightened nerves, because we were all trying to make something very special, and there was, it was just for me personally, it was a very stressful time. But that being said, it was very fun, and I do like to talk about it, but like we kind of touched on earlier, I'd almost never engage on the topic. Because I'm almost always going to lead with that, and I feel like that sounds so...
It almost like ruins it.
Right.
But not really, because it was so special. It's like very hard to talk about, because it was...
It's emotional.
For me, oh yeah,
incredibly emotional.
100%. Because I don't know, that was our first time ever in the studio together or individually like that, where it's like the real thing, like we're paying money for this, we're working with someone who we respect and like and hope still respects and likes us by the time we're done.
This is Adam Wayton.
Yeah.
Right?
That's correct.
From Telemarket.
Yeah.
Pink Stones as well.
And basically, fuck, I forget what I was going to say because I was like, that's a good tempo. We needed, sorry. But you were doing really fast.
leg.
I was like, how are you doing that?
Oh,
I was
Instead
also
of-
impressed.
Yeah, you could not do it too if you wanted.
I know.
Because you had stopped and then I pointed it out. Does that make it happen? I'm sorry.
It's just a stim
You can
of
do it or
mine.
not do it. I've got.
It'll happen
it's my
when it
job to
happens.
figure it out.
It's like when I clock that somebody is saying like a lot in the interview, and I have to like block it out because I won't stop noticing it. So, for any tips for anybody coming on the
God.
show, think about how many times you say like in a sentence.
If I haven't already been doing that, I'm definitely gonna not on purpose. I'm going to start.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna stop.
Oh, but yeah, like our experience in the studio was so emotional in so many different ways. Like we were tired, we were stressed. We had just come off of 2 nights of back-to-back shows, one here in Athens, and then the night before we went into the studio was in Atlanta, where we had to get like a friend of ours who's now in the new lineup of Sex Cells on guitar, Jack Coakley. But anyway, it's our drummer. Essentially, like he has sobriety issues. He relapsed the night before those 2 shows, and then we were supposed to have like a 4-day run essentially, where it was 2 shows, and then we were going to record. And so it was just this like crazy 4 days of like concern for our friend and his well-being. I think a lot of like anger and frustration at the circumstances and at him for certain choices that he made. Guilt for feeling that anger because there's also concern because he had, like we love and care about this person. And then also like not having any time to process or deal with that for 2 days straight, because immediately we had to call Jack and be like, hey, like how long do you think it would take you to learn like 10, 11 Sex Cell songs? And he came over, we spent like 3 hours and then played the 2 shows back to back, and he did awesome and it was great, but it was just so exhausting and stressful. And at the end of the night on Friday, we called our drummer at the time to check in on him and see how he was doing and see if physically he would even be capable of coming to the studio and playing. And we were at the time like, ready to lay down the law and be like, look, if you don't get help because we care about you, I don't know that this is going to work anymore. It's a whole long story. But essentially, I was very emotionally charged. At the same time, he showed up and it was just this like triumphant, very inspiring. It was like after all that, like he still showed up, and it was cool and it was special, and I think we were all really proud of it.
Yeah, the EP wouldn't have been the same had he not pulled through.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's a phenomenal drummer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Who we love very much.
all you guys really crushed it on the album, and you only did it in 2 days. Or
Yeah,
EP.
well, it
forgot
was
that.
2 days of tracking, and then we went back for like a half a day of mixing, I think, and then Adam kind of sent back the mixes.
I wasn't there for
Yeah.
that part, and that's why I don't remember it. Okay.
So how did you get through all that? I know that's obviously an insane amount of pressure and energy required to just get through 4 days of, shows and recording, let alone on top of that, a personal crisis. Like, now that you've gotten through that, what have you learned about handling very, touchy situations?
For me, I guess the predominant thing that I learned is that I feel that my job at all times is to get these fucking songs out to people, because I think people would like them and would get a lot out of them. Yeah, because we just, with that as the goal in mind, both with the EP and with the 2 shows, it was easy enough to be like, okay, like let's get our drummer to a point where he's like safe and good and well. But after that, we have like work to do for the next couple of days. And then we'll be able to go like address that and work through it. Like we talked about it loosely, but we didn't start making a game plan for him and like what we were going to approach as a group or any final serious decisions until we got through the weekend. It was just about getting through the weekend because it was like, okay, like these people are excited for the show, all 10 of them. And
we all have this.
And we're really we worked really fucking hard to get these songs ready for the studio, and we want to do this. And I think that was most of the secret magic sauce, was being like, oh yeah, like the songs, like it's not, I don't know, it was ego killing in a little in a sense, where I was like, yeah, as individuals, it's like not whatever, the well-being is important and obviously ultimately top priority, but in terms of like an immediate sense of like, okay, what do we do here? Like we could have easily at any point been like, cancel the shows, postpone the studio dates, this is too much. And I think if we had done that, I mean, there were many points during that whole weekend where I was like,
yeah, I'm sure
we should not be fucking doing this. Like I'm tired. I spent most of the studio experience like either writing vocal harmonies outside, chain smoking fucking cigarettes to stay awake, or like curled up on the couch in the studio with like very loud music blaring, and it didn't matter because it was just like there was like no sleep.
Whoa. Yeah.
But
that's an intense,
it was so fun,
like experience.
Yeah, it was
for,
a lot.
You know, your first EP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think it did a great job of keeping us all in a headspace of staying in that frame of mind, that performance frame of mind, because it was just go, go, go. And the fact that we pulled it off, we were able to work off of each other. I think it created a very unique experience that works. I wouldn't wish that exact experience upon anybody, but we made it through, and it was a triumph, and I'm very proud of everybody who was a part of it. But yeah, Elizabeth touched it on the head perfectly. It was nose, head, tip of the tongue, what have you. Sorry, I saw you gesture.
Sorry.
That's amazing, honestly, to go through all that and still come out with 5 awesome songs. And that is so true that obviously personal situations and safety is going to take priority, but it sounds like to keep yourself sane, putting the songs at like the top of the food chain is what maybe helped you get through it.
Oh yeah, then we could all be the sharks that we truly are.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from that experience that you would want to take in with you to like the next recording session? Let's say everything just runs smoothly, you know, like what would you want to really implement from last time?
For me, in like a personal, like I pricked my ego and now I'm going to like patch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I, before going into the studio, was like, I don't know, you know, sometimes I get distracted or distractible or really like nervous and uncomfortable. Like I didn't want any of them in the room when I was doing my vocal takes, for instance, until Adam was like, when I said that, when we were about to go track vocals at like the very end of it was like Sunday, like 8:30 p.m., you know, like the very end of the 2 days of tracking. And I was like, okay, like they're going to leave the room because I don't really want to have them like looking at me or whatnot while I'm doing this. And he was like, that's stupid. We're not going to do that. They should be in here. I think it'll really like whatever. And then they were in there and I don't know. I was really surprised and proud of myself as like a vocal. I guess that was before the studio. I didn't really consider myself a vocalist. I considered myself like a writer and a performer and like a strategic implementer and whatnot, but
project manager,
if you will. Yeah. And afterwards I was like, oh, I'm good at that and I like that. And ever since, writing songs, it kind of unlocks something. So for me, going back into the studio the next time, I'm very excited to experiment with like really intentionally in advance coming up with vocal harmonies and thinking on my own, like, okay, like how do I want to sing? when I go in there, because now I know I can sing like 4 or 5 different people.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Almost like different characters.
Mm-hmm.
That is weird when you think about how many ways you could sing, and then it's almost
Which way do you choose to? Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
wait, but which one am I?
Yeah, which is the like authentic
Right.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that can be tough. Did you guys ever have moments throughout, writing and recording where it felt like, that doesn't feel like us, or it's like, yeah, but it could be, like struggling with what feels the most authentic, or was it just kind of touch and go?
I mean, because we went in and we tracked as a full band initially for each of the tracks, I think that put everybody in the headspace of like, okay, this is just another live gig. And then we're just going to zhuzh it up from there. Mm-hmm. So I don't personally feel like I encountered that feeling all too much throughout. My biggest issue was just worried about speaking up about certain aspects that maybe didn't matter all that much.
Like what? What were you hearing?
Well, there is one thing that I did speak up on, and I will never forget because it made it into the final track. And that was that, oh yeah, during Not This Dog, it'd be cool if we had some like call and respond percussion here.
Uh-huh.
And except I didn't say it like that. I said, hey, hold on a second. And then I just walked into the studio, and then I was like, what's going on? And
I was outside.
I took a drumstick in there with me.
I would have stopped it.
I took a drumstick in with me.
She's still cursing herself for going to smoke a cig.
Yeah.
Our guitarist followed me in, and then I started scraping on a ladder step because he had this wooden ladder sitting in the studio up against the wall. I saw it when I walked in, and because I'm a fucking goof, I'm like, I'm gonna do something with that at some point.
It does sound cool.
And
is it when the tambourine kind of comes in at the end? Maybe I'm thinking of a different song.
It's so Not This Dog, during the like instrumental breaks, the there's a and then a higher and the lower it's.
Dude, your automatopoeias are on point right now.
It's pretty low on the mix, so you gotta really listen for it. Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna have to go check that out again.
You really have to listen to it.
Is it like a washboard situation?
Almost. I mean, that's good because it was ribbed, so
Right.
that's kind of the sound you got out of it. And our guitarist, he picked up, I can't remember the name of the instrument, but it was metallic and shaped like those fish that you get in elementary school with the ribs on the back. And so he got a higher pitch out of it, and that sounded more like. Wait, you don't know what I'm talking about?
No idea what you're talking about.
In elementary school, y'all never had like percussion day.
I mean, I feel like we did, but like a fish, a metallic fish.
Okay, the one I had.
You said metallic fish. Mine was wooden.
Well, yeah, and there's a wooden fish that I think most people have an experience with, but this is essentially the same instrument. Yes.
I don't know where you got fish, but I feel like
mine was the one in my elementary school.
Purposefully
It was modeled after a fish. It
Modeled
looked like a fish. It looked like a fish. It had a mouth, had eyes, had a tail.
okay.
Or maybe I'm making that up, but I
I don't
swear
know.
to God.
At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. I'm sorry. At first, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then I was like, "Oh, I know what you're talking about."
Yeah, because now that I know they're not all fishes. It's I can picture the thing now, but I still don't know what it's called.
But the other instrument, it was metallic, and essentially that. It was like
so
gira. I don't care.
You blended materials, metal and
the
wood.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that was. There was some other just like. Yeah, but it was just me like, should I say something about this? Does it really matter all that much? Just stuck in my own head for the most part.
That's tough when you're like, should I say something? Like, should I? Are my ideas worthy?
Right, and that's that exact. I'm not a very confident person, and the whole band experience has been great for me because it's allowed me to express myself and be more confident. And Elizabeth is great at giving moral support and letting me know when she likes something I say
sarcastic?
or when I don't. Not at all. I'm not looking at you because I don't want to look
We're
at you
all
because I
about
might tear up a
earnestness
bit.
here at all.
Sorry, I
No.
won't look at you either, dog.
Should have brought the tissues out. I'm sorry, I forgot.
I forgot the point I was trying to make. I got too sad.
No,
Not sad, sentimental.
Sentimental.
I'm so miserable right now.
But isn't that like, imagine if you were in a band that didn't feel like that. That would
Right,
suck.
and
you know?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
because this is my first experience, and I'm not having. Well, sure, I'm having plenty of bad, weird feelings because spending so much time with so many weirdos, they're gonna be plenty of.
It's gonna run you down
opportunities.
eventually.
Yeah, to some point.
so many weirdos. You're talking about us?
Yeah, you're a weirdo. You're a part of the weirdos.
Okay.
It takes real weirdos to get together.
I guess I don't know what you mean by that.
It takes real weirdos to get together consistently and make silly sounds together.
You heard it here first, folks. Only weird weirdos make weird music.
We could be weird sex cells.
Weird sex.
That's the
okay,
next
what's with
iteration.
okay, I'm sorry. What was with the
Yeah,
lore?
damn it. We almost distracted him.
What was the lore with not sex cells?
Okay, listen here.
I was so confused because I already asked y'all to come on the podcast. I'm like, am I gonna have to say not sex cells?
No, of
every
course
time?
not. I hate it. Basically, we had in late April, stretching into May, really, starting in late April and through June, the original lineup as it was, just became super uncertain as to who was going to be going forward with it or not. And because we all cared about each other very much and there was like friendship and it was like, it was special. It was the five of us and all of that sort of jazz. At first, we were like, you know what? We're going to change the band name. Right now, what we're going to do is call ourselves Not Sex Cells to give ourselves some, start getting people ready for that. Like knowing a transition is going to be happening, but give ourselves time to come up with a band name that we like as much or better. And then we did that. Or I guess I kind of just did that. And a lot more people than I thought seemed pretty distraught about it. They were like, we really like the name. We really like, and they were very concerned about okay, is the music stopping or is just the name changing or what? What's going on? And I realized that for the first time ever since I've been doing this, which before Sex Cells, I've been in bands on and off for 7 years and trying to do the whole music thing for 10. So a half of my, not a half. In 2.5 years, it'll have been half of my life. In 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
This does not matter. Okay,
No,
anyway.
I'm trying to do the math.
Basically, what was the fucking point? What was I even talking about?
Not sex cells.
Right. Basically, it was just really, I personally was super touched and inspired by how many people gave a shit. And it kind of more or less, because I'm very won over by sentimentality when making important decisions. If I can find a sentimental pull for myself, I'll be like, okay, and then I can go forward and be like, okay, that was the good decision to make, whatever. For me, it was okay, Sex Cells wasn't just the five of us though. It was the five of us and literally everybody so far who had connected with our songs, whether that's listening to the EP or being at a show. And I guess I underestimated how important that connection was to them and how much they liked it. And having that over the course of the 4-ish weeks that we teased the Not Sex Cells idea, and we played a show, and we're going to play a couple more shows as Not Sex Cells because we did change up the sound a little bit for it. So now it's kind of an alter ego that we have, but Sex Cells will be continuing. We probably won't play another official Sex Cells show until the fall, and that's all I'm gonna say about that for now.
Expertly
that.
dodged.
Yeah.
I watched that process.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But that is pretty cool to realize that it's more than just you. It's more than just the band. It's actually a community
Us and
that
at
you've
least
created.
10 other people.
At least 10.
Yeah.
least 10.
Gerald
Gerald Davis.
Burris.
Burris. Why did I think
He
Bur-
works at Nucci Space.
Why did I
he
think
runs
it was
a,
Davis? I think I know.
is that? Are you talking about the same Gerald as me?
Yes.
Glasses.
Yes. Yeah.
He's my favorite person.
Shout out to Gerald. He might be listening to this. You rule. His
Gerald rules.
Substack is awesome.
Yeah. Very cool stuff.
Wonderful,
yeah, he's the man.
guy.
Yeah.
Very supportive guy. I know he loves y'all,
Yeah.
so I'm sure he'll be listening to this episode. What's up, Gerald? But yeah, he's a big fan. And you guys have a lot of fans. I don't know what you're talking about. You got more than 10.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
At least 10.
At least 10.
Yeah. It could be 11, maybe 13, fuck 12.
It's certainly
I'm just
great.
kidding.
Yeah.
But not really.
That was good. That was a nice little thing there.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a song that comes to mind that you're most proud of on the EP? And then alternatively, one that gave you the most trouble?
Ooh.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I am the most proud of Normal.
Normal, yeah.
Normal, yeah.
I wrote in here that to me it sounds like Hole meets Beach House.
Okay.
That's what that song makes me
Cool.
think
That
of.
makes me like it more.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's the one you're most proud of.
Yeah, I think so. The gang vocals that we have in there, and the harmonies, just floating above Elizabeth as she continues her vocal line. We all had a lot of fun recording those, and there was a lot of emotion in that track specifically.
Because I think that was, some of you were like, that was the first time we heard the lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was.
And they're pretty sad.
And like you were saying
times.
earlier, she did not want us in there when she was going to track the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Then Adam shot her down, and so we all stayed in there. And I made sure to lay down on the floor because I know even though I'm in there,
That was really kind of
I was
make her feel
I
better
was about
for
to
her.
say, I'm like, how would that make you feel? Because I would be like, no, it's cool. I'll leave. Like, I don't want to.
Oh no,
cause
I
a
definitely.
problem.
Oh, I definitely wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But I just laid down on the floor so that she couldn't
That's a
see
good
me, so she'd at least
compromise.
feel better.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I heard her vocals isolated, and I teared up on the floor. It was very nice. I just was very comfortable, and the lights were dimmed, and it really
I was
hit.
sleepy.
And I was sleep deprived. I was really stressed out, and Elizabeth's voice just really hit a note for me. But no, in all honesty, yeah, no, that song, beautiful. A lot of effort and work went into it on every part from everybody, and I think that song shined through. Dingbat's a close second for me.
Yeah, Dingbat is awesome.
But Normal more so because that also was a song that we all wrote together from the ground up, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Which song?
Normal.
What do you...
Did you give us... You came with Bones.
Well, I came with like the chord progression and the vocal melody.
Right.
I came with about the same amount as every other song.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of group effort went into making it what it was, for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
And Dingbat's just a much older song, but close second anyway. Yeah, that's my pick.
Nice. And then what about you? One you're most proud of?
I think in a group sense, Normal. In a group, like answering as a collective, I think that's the answer. For me personally, probably I have a favorite. It's hard. Proud is hard because I have little moments on all of them that I'm proud of.
Yeah. True.
Normal include.
Favorite works.
Normal was the most vulnerable for me to do. So in that way, I guess proud would be, because it's hard for me to do that. My favorite is definitely No Guilt. I love that fucking song.
I love the ending of it is crazy.
Yeah, and that like the vocal thing that
What
comes
is the
up.
thing at the very end? That
So
vocal.
it's so like that No Guilt is the oldest song in terms of songs that like existed. Like I wrote that alone in a basement 2 years before I even met you and that sort of thing. And it's just one of the angriest songs I've ever written, which is really fun for me to step into that kind of character where it's like, oh, I'm not just like sad. I'm like also kind of like, hey, fuck you, you know? But anyway, the outro part, like they added in like this like chorus thing that I came up with like 20 minutes before it was time to record the vocals, where it's just like it takes one of the opening lines. I think it's the last line in the first second to last line in the first verse, which is, have you ever thought about it that way? I guess I never thought about it that way. And at the end, when I'm already singing like other things, which I think it's like, I'm going to hold on till I feel something over and over and over again. That was already in there. And then it ends with like I do what I want. And that was already in there. But the part that got added was like this, like, I don't know if staccato is the right word.
Oh yeah, definitely
Staccato. So it's like it sounds like this. It's like, ha, 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 ha. But what I'm saying is, have you ever thought about it that way? Have you ever thought? And it like loops.
It's like a weird
perfectly.
syncopation.
And it like falls off in terms of lyrically, but you can like I know that's what I'm saying, but if I was listening to the song myself, I would never know in a million years that that's what. And it's just so, I love it. So in terms of pride, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
fun.
feels like somebody's casting a spell on you.
Yes.
At the end.
An angry
And then there's
spell.
like the last word or whatever
Yeah.
it is, and it feels like snapping you back. And you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Very disorienting in like
yeah.
a really cool way.
Yeah.
Maybe you should take up the witch motif. with
I
that
already
in mind.
have. I'm way ahead of you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Don't you worry.
Shaking your head at me.
Don't you
It's
worry.
all part of the plan, the master
yeah.
plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about a song that gave you the most trouble? What was like the most difficult to nail down?
Not
Probably not this dog. For
Damn.
sure.
I don't think we talked
Well,
about
I
that
just
either.
think that it's yeah.
That's the second song on the EP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one just there was something about it in the studio. All of the other ones, pretty immediately into hearing the mix, it was like, okay, like they all had points that were more challenging and stuff, but they were all like, whoa, this is exciting. Like this sounds cool as a fuck. Not this dog. It's not that I don't remember having any moment like that. It just wasn't nearly as, it felt comparatively to the others for us for most of the mixing process. Like this is like, I think at a point we were almost like, let's just make it a 4-song EP. Like this is not worth the stress, you know? But by the time we finished and it came together, it was like, if nothing else, the EP needs it as like a connecting point. Like once we started looking at like the order of the songs and stuff. But I would say, yeah, not this dog. Troubling. Hard to play on drums.
Yeah.
And just in an exhaustion kind of way. Like it would exhaust our drummer to try and get the
Yeah.
takes.
Just maybe didn't come together as easily as the other
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
we cut parts down. I know there's a key part that got cut down, and
Oh, yeah.
the whole percussion thing came in, which was a saving grace for me because I was feeling more and more like the track was drifting away and like I was losing interest in it. It was like becoming frustrating, and it very much, by the time that we had it finished, I love playing it live, but there's just something that I think we lost in the studio, and I'll never know what I would do different is the thing though. It sounds good. Don't get me wrong. I think it is a good song.
Sorry.
But it definitely is just the weakest track to me. For just, you know, much like Elizabeth explained, it never had a moment where it was like, yeah, oh yeah, like every other track did. So it's more like it didn't reach the bar of expectation that we had set. At least for me personally, that's how I'm looking at it. Which is funny that I can look at it and say those things about it and feel that so honestly and to the point. But I've talked to people about, oh yeah, like, so you listen to the album? Like, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, so what's your favorite song? It's like, oh, I love Not This Dog. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's my favorite song. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. Did you hear the ladder? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what a person's favorite song from the EP tells me a lot about that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what my favorite one is. I want to say the first one, not
No guilt.
No Guilt, but that's just because we were just talking about that thing at the end.
Congratulations. You are the best kind of person.
Then I won't say anything else. We'll leave it there. No Guilt, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
But you know, you start with a banger too. That's also why I like it. And then I like Normal a lot simply because I feel like I nailed the Beach House whole comparison. But
Selfish.
and then honestly, Nice Moves just makes me laugh. I think
Yeah.
that song is awesome. It's very
love
funny.
Which part makes you laugh?
One of the lyrics where something like "Save It."
Oh,
You say it's something right before
so
you say,
save it.
Yeah, so save it. It's just so like
Yeah.
like
There's a head bob in there.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So safe.
I can just picture like the scenario, like some drunk guy coming up and trying to like use his line on you, and then you're just like, dude, fucking
Save it.
get a life. Yeah, save your
Yeah.
breath.
Wow, that's really
There's a lot of sass to that one that I feel like
Yeah.
really comes out more there, where the other ones seem to have a little bit more like serious angst, where that one has more of a playful kind of angst, maybe.
yeah.
It's a fun note for me personally. That's a song that I always had hoped would like. I always thought that was going to be the song live that was going to make people be like, yeah. But we never. Recently, we've gotten better reactions to it, but
People like it a lot.
people do like it a lot, but they don't dance to it as much as some of the other songs,
Well,
which has
and I
always
think-
surprised me.
I think that makes sense. It's kind of more of like this kind of song versus like, I don't know that we have a ton of songs that are like dance.
Yeah, no,
A lot of them are like, they're like, you can move to them, but they're not like really moshing songs. Although you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I could see people
People get
moshing to
creative.
Dingbat.
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah.
And yeah, for sure.
No Guilt were a bit longer.
I feel like Nice Moves, like we in the band are like, that's a dancing one because like the whole thing is about like nice moves, like dancing
Right.
moves, and like the whole like scene that's set up, I guess, is kind of that kind of thing. But it's not really. If you come to our shows and you dance, you're gonna be kicked out.
No dancing.
That's a promise.
This is like the Dirty Dancing Town.
Yeah,
Every sex sells show.
We bring it to you.
yeah.
Yeah, you can feel it, but you can't
You
move.
cannot express
We
it.
better not. We'll stop the show.
Yeah.
So no dancing at sex sell shows. I got one more question for you guys before we go to the last 5, and that is
So 6 more.
yeah.
Sorry.
It is.
I'm kidding.
That is
I'm just having a
100%
goof.
how it ends up going. But where do you guys feel like how do you feel like you've progressed creatively since the inception of the band, and where do you see yourselves creatively wanting to explore more in the future?
You want to go first or second?
You can go first.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, it is a 2-parter in a
Okay,
way.
yeah.
So the first, I can break it down. The first part is just, how do you feel like you've progressed since you started the band, like creatively? What do you think you've gotten better at, or even just more comfortable with?
I think for me, it's like less of a tangible thing. Definitely better at performing. This is the first band I've ever played in where I've gotten the privilege of playing most of our songs actually live without having to play or hold any instrument or guitar or anything like that. So I get to just move around. And as it turns out, I'm kind of crazy, which is fun.
That is cool.
Like it's way more fun. Like I've learned that I have a preference for that. Like if I'm fronting a band or a project, I prefer to be hands-free, so to speak, so that I can be a true pop star, as God and
You could
nature
get one of
intended.
the
I really
those
want one.
things
I
that
really
go
want one
in your
so
ear.
bad. Oh yeah,
Justin Timberlake.
100.
Britney
I want us
Spears.
all to have them.
That would
In
be so
fact,
sick.
it'd be great.
I think you could bring it back.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
coordinate some dance moves.
yeah. Nice
Anyway,
moves.
sorry to derail.
Choreographed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can dance, but the audience cannot. Just to reiterate.
Yeah. Don't fucking think about
It's
it.
an
either.
exercise in restraint
Yeah.
for the audience.
Yeah. Oh, and just in general, I think when I started this band, I was very much like, I am shy and I fucking suck. And all this other like just negative self-deprecating stuff that I didn't even recognize as such at the time. And now I'm like, oh, you know what? Like I've got my quirks, but I'm a decent leader, and I'm a decent writer, and a decent, like all the things that I think I need to be bringing to the table for us to do. Like I still maintain that I couldn't do it by myself, and I desperately need like other people who I trust and who are good to contribute to, but now it's in a way where I'm like, oh, and I'm also one of those people and I'm doing it. Here we go. Rock. Rock
rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a huge step that nobody tells you is like just understanding that every other rock star and pop star like had to start at some point, and they
Yeah.
also had to like
They
go
had their
through
awkward acoustic solo shows.
Oh, of course.
I
And they had
hate
to
it.
like go through the imposter syndrome and whatever. Like you all have to go through it, and
Yeah. Does
It's
that
fine.
stop?
don't ask me. I don't know. I mean, you know, it seems to be something that probably always sticks with you and
Yeah.
just kind of comes in and out at certain
Right.
times,
Like a
depending
curse.
on. Yeah.
Ooh,
Or a
that's
disease.
fun. I like curse. I'll stick with curse. The
Curse.
whole witch vibe.
You don't get to choose. You're
Oh,
not the witch.
I'm just.
Whoa.
That's okay. Fair enough.
Don't cross the witch.
I'm the what? I'm the what, Elizabeth?
Nothing.
No, I'm
We're
the
gonna have
what.
our first
You're the hot
fist
dog.
fight on that note.
Yeah,
That would be pretty sick.
that'd be cool.
And then
Actually,
make it pay-per-view.
We brought
Yeah.
boxing gloves.
Oh, you did?
No.
Nice. Actually,
I was
have
like,
boxing
really?
gloves in
Do
there.
you?
No.
Oh.
How does it feel to get lied?
Where
to?
does it end?
Double
I
dogs
actually
on.
do. I had a pair in Atlanta that I never used once, other
I
than
have a
to
pair
like
right
take
now
a picture.
that I've
And
never used once. Yeah, I should have brought them.
that would have been cool. But what about you?
The question was about growth.
Yes. How do you feel like you've grown? When you put it like that, it feels weird. Question was about growth.
Sorry.
Accusatory.
However you took it.
I, going into it, knew nothing about anything. I still know very little. But comparatively, I know more. Elizabeth, as she touched on, fell into a leadership role, and she does a great job. She didn't fall into it. It was very intentional. I should have phrased that differently. She pulled me in when I had no right being there, and now here we are, kind of fumbling around and making neat sounds and making some magic happen sometimes. Yeah, most of the growth has been just in confidence and playing with other people.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly playing with very talented people who've been playing for years, and I'm playing two instruments that I've never played in my life. I've been playing keys and synth since we started Sex Cells. Well, actually, synth.
So that's not your
less
like
time,
go-to
No.
instrument. Whoa.
I played trombone and baritone in high school.
Sick.
And a little bit of bass before that.
Wait, so you don't have like a background in keys and synth?
Anyway, next question.
Yeah,
So
no, that
you're
was
a
fun.
fraud.
Really, I moved here from Metro Atlanta, and I'm not really great at meeting new people outside of the context of, I'm in a band, I guess, so I'm
Yeah.
here, I guess.
I
Yeah.
feel that.
Yeah, but we were coworkers, and it was slim pickings with the staff. There was only so many
Like,
people.
he's fine, I guess.
You know what I mean? I was like, he, as a personality fit, he clearly has a good ear for music. He said he played other instruments. I don't play keys or synth, and at the time, I just needed somebody to show up and play the parts that I had written. And my logic was that if I could write them without playing the instrument, then somebody with the same kind of natural musical ear that I would have would be able to learn them pretty quickly because they're not that hard.
And you were right.
And now we have Sex Cells.
And now we have Sex Cells.
It was-
and you're great at it.
Thank you. You're a wonderful singer and guitarist when you decide you want
He's
to play.
don't.
You're good.
That's-
You're very good. That whole us working together though, I haven't talked about a
I
whole lot.
hate it. Sorry.
No, but I onboarded her for the job, and we just talked
yeah.
about music for almost the entire. Every time that she was working with me, and I was like showing her the ropes, we would just talk about music.
That's
And we
true.
made each other playlists.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sweet.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back from lunch, and my coworker Brandon had a little
Brandon.
business card on his desk, and it said it had a previous band name, Ready Boys.
Don't. Why did you have to do me like that? Don't
Ready
leave it.
Boys?
Stop
what she
it.
previously went by.
Wait,
and
For like a few years, for
That
like a
was
few months.
a little while.
That was your name?
That was we didn't even we played
the
like one
project
show.
name?
That was
Ready Boys.
It was
think it is a
it was
good name. I
bad.
think it's a
It
good
was
name.
not.
Nice.
I saw that. I'm like, oh, what is that? And Brandon goes, oh, Elizabeth was handing these out, and she's in a band.
Marketing.
She was marketing.
Yeah.
But I didn't get one immediately, and I had to ask for one. And I
Really?
was, yeah, I did. I had to ask for one. But then,
Awkward.
but then very shortly after that, you started inviting me to come over and play with you and our previous guitarist, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize you were being serious. It took us
People seldom do.
3 months,
Yeah.
and yeah.
That's awesome. So who all is in the band? It's you two and you said Jack.
Jack
Jack
plays
Coakley.
guitar.
Jack plays guitar, and then
And then we have Charlie
Charlie
Enter on bass.
Charlie Enter on bass.
And he's kind of irrelevant, so you wouldn't know him from anywhere.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Just kidding.
You hear that, Charlie?
Sorry, last
doing
night we
an
went to
excellent
Waffle
job.
House after practice, and really quick personal.
Uh-huh.
The lady came over. She was like, "What do you want to drink?" And I was like, "I'll take a chocolate milk, please." And then she was
Chocolate
like, okay.
milk?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll breeze past that. We won't.
Just-
Okay.
And then asked Jack, and Jack is like, "I'll take like whatever water, I think." And then Charlie was like, "I'll also take a chocolate milk." And I was like, "Okay." She comes back. She puts the chocolate milks down. And then she's like, "What do you want to eat?" And I was like, "I'll take a chocolate chip waffle with like triple the chocolate chips." And then asked Jack, whatever, eggs, I don't know. And then Charlie was like, "I'll take a chocolate chip fucking waffle." And then the fucker drank his chocolate milk like in like 2 minutes. Like the big cup. It was really bizarre.
So you were just
I
thrown
don't
off that he
trust
like
him.
copied you?
Oh yeah, he's been doing that.
Well, we should have
No,
we
he's
should have
not.
had him on
He's not. Yeah.
and just he could copy your answers.
That'd be great.
Have him defend himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be a good fight there. And our drummer.
You know what? Why don't we bring him out right now?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
he's tied up in the
Yeah. Never mind that. It's getting
Our
dark.
drummer's name is Trevor
Thrift.
That took a little long.
No. My brain shut off.
And he's very good.
he's
all
an
good,
incredible
all
drummer.
good, all good.
He's
and
very good drummer.
yes,
Do you guys have another show coming up soon?
yeah, we're playing at Boggs Social Supply
Cool.
in Atlanta on Saturday,
August 12th.
August 12th, and
August
then
12th.
we're playing.
I think this should be out by then, but if not, is there anything else
Oh,
after?
cool. Oh yeah, we're playing at Flickr. Flickr on
With the
August
Piers
25th.
and Made Up.
Yeah.
Sorry, say it again.
With the Piers and Made Up, yeah. August 25th, we are playing at Flickr, and I think that's a Friday.
Yes.
Nice.
Friday.
Yeah.
Flickr. August 25th.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
Nice. This will definitely be
4
out
months till
before
Christmas.
then. So if you're listening August 12th, hopefully
That's
this will
so
be out
soon.
Bog Social. And we put it out every week. But I got 1 or 2. I think I have Marcel Sletton right before y'all. Do you know him?
No.
He's awesome. He just puts out music under his own name, but he also has like a label called Primordial Void, and he puts on a lot of shows around here.
Oh.
So you guys should meet up. He's cool. He'd probably really be into your music too. He's got great taste.
I like people with great taste.
Yes, me too.
I
What a
hate them.
coincidence.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah.
They better not come dance at my shows. You guys better not come dance at their shows at Bog Social and Flickr, August
Yes.
25th. But cool, let's take that over to the last 5, where the universe is going to ask you guys 5 questions
Oh. How
Where's my water bottle?
in a bowl here.
Is
So-
this yours?
Smart water.
Yeah.
So you guys can go ahead and kind of just take one out one by one.
Oh, like, just,
Yeah.
okay.
One at a time.
Mine's going to be like, why'd you do that?
How about this one?
Do you feel guilty?
Feel good?
You don't have
let's
to.
do one at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Okay,
one at a time.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. in the worst spot.
that,
Okay.
that would have been fun to just watch for the rest of the interview, see if it falls.
No talking.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Okay,
Stop
moment of
talking.
silence.
5 moments of silence. Dream artist, producer to work with.
Danny DeVito.
Nice. Why wouldn't it be Danny DeVito, you know?
I'm upset that I didn't think of that.
What would he do? Would he just kind of hang?
He'd just get it. He would just, for once, I'd have someone who just understood me without me having to say or do anything, and then I would be happy, and I could maybe I could relax.
Okay. So he's doing everything. He's producing, engineering,
Writing,
writing. Yeah. Okay. Singing.
performing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You slowly become Danny DeVito. Or he becomes you. You become one.
We'll just have to see who is more powerful, Elizabeth Raps or Danny DeVito. It's disrespectful. It's Danny DeVito.
What about you, Zach? What are you thinking?
Oh my goodness. Dream artist, producer.
That's not my real answer. I have a real answer, but I'll go after you.
Are you Danny? You're telling me Danny DeVito was not your serious
Well,
answer?
that's my dream answer, but being realistic,
Okay.
he's not my real answer.
Oh my god, I forget his freaking name. Who recorded the Nirvana Nevermind? Steve Albini?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Steve Albini.
Or
No.
Butch Vig.
Wait.
Steve Albini did. I think he did In Utero.
Thank you. Okay.
But
I am thinking of Steve Albini.
Okay, but yeah, In Utero.
Wrong
And also
album.
Pixies albums.
Yes.
He rules.
Yeah, he captures the nitty gritty, raw, dirty sound. I like that. I
And
think that's
PJ
great.
Harvey. I forgot. I just learned about him this year, and I never really knew who he was, and then realized he's got his fingerprints on every great 90s rock record.
And then there's Slint as well.
Oh yeah,
That's an Spiderland.
yeah.
That album. I remember the first time I heard that.
There's some Slint in you guys and Sex Sells music.
We definitely have some. we definitely have this track that we made while jamming a while back that almost exactly sounds like a Slint song.
Which
I don't know
one?
if it'll Piss Christ.
God, don't.
Piss Christ.
There's
Robert
there's the
Mapplethorpe
drum.
reference. Okay. Wait, is that him? Is that Robert Mapplethorpe?
I think.
I
Maybe
couldn't
it's not.
say. I just thought we were goofing around and put two things that most people wouldn't put together.
Wait, you
With
know that's
Piss
a real
Christ?
thing, right?
No.
You know that's. Oh, are you serious? Piss Christ is a real art piece.
Wait.
I think I have heard of this.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of it.
Where the guy, put a crucifix in a jar of
It
his
is in a
piss.
jar.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's like a beautiful photograph. And then you realize it's called Piss Christ because he literally put,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ in his jar of piss.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that one.
Yeah.
I wonder
If you can believe it.
Yeah.
That's wild. You didn't know. You just kind of
I
didn't realize.
I
It's
forget
not
about
that.
that.
We're not that bright.
Yeah. I mean,
Not a whole lot.
I
going up
wouldn't
here.
say that. I just thought it was a clever nod,
I should have just taken it. I should have just nodded and said,
You'd be like, yeah, of course. Even though I'm pretty sure I got the name wrong of the guy who did it.
Dream artist or producer? That was the question?
Yes.
It was, yeah.
Thank you for getting back on track. I was not.
Jim James,
Ooh.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think he'd, in a serious, actual, music and otherwise
Absolutely.
way. Plus, I just, I just want him to be my mentor so fucking bad.
He seems so cool.
He seems so cool. A life coach would be nice, but he's probably too busy, relaxing and being cool and wise and
He
creative.
also just looks like a mountain man.
Right?
Exactly,
I bet he gives
yeah.
really good hugs.
Probably.
And
Maybe.
He wears pretty big coats in a lot of
He
photographs. That would make for
Yeah.
a good
A
hug.
nice hug.
Maybe.
Yeah.
A nice hug in the winter.
They're kind of costumey though. I don't know how comfortable they'd be.
You don't know that? He makes decent money.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably really good money actually.
I love his the album. I always forget the name, but the red one where he's wearing a mask and it's really blurry.
Oh,
It's not it's a solo album.
it's
of
not-
his.
it's not Regions of Light and Sound of God.
No.
Is it?
It's after that.
It's the one where it's like his face, but it's blurred out, and it's like a.
He's like wearing some crazy mask.
Yeah. It's like. What? Oh, okay. Sorry, I had no idea what you were trying to. You could have just said that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail.
Sorry,
you.
no, you didn't.
Okay.
Now you're kind of starting to, but I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's fuck.
Here, let's look it up.
I think I
We
actually
can cheat here. That's fine.
wait. I don't want to. It's like a riddle.
Okay, I won't tell you.
Is it? Does it start with an H?
An H?
Yeah.
No, it is an alliteration of E. I would have literally never guessed this, by the way.
It's an alliteration of E.
Mm-hmm.
How many words is it?
2.
And they both start with E.
Yeah. Any listener right now is just screaming the name.
You said it's red. The album's red.
Yeah. He's wearing like a
yellowish.
it's like a gold trinkets all over his face.
Does
And
it say it on the album?
No.
Can I see the art?
Yeah.
Oh.
Eternally Even.
Yeah, you got it. Nice.
That's a good ass.
I would have literally never gotten it.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
I guess it's the last song. It's called Eternally Even.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
know
a
that.
really good one. I'm actually gonna go. I completely forgot about that album. I'm gonna listen to it tonight.
I absolutely only listened to it for the first time because of that album cover. So I thought it was so sick.
It's cool.
And then I really like the music. Here in Spirit is crazy.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And-
what I was trying to remember because I thought that might be the name of the album.
Right.
Hence the H. Yeah.
Jim James. It's a great answer. I don't think anybody said that on this show. But let's check number 2. What are we thinking?
I really like this. I'm a
It's
sucker
fun.
for like a random like.
I used to just
know.
write them down, and this is way more fun.
Musical hot take.
Let's go, dude. Yes. This is a fun one.
I guess I'll just say it. We do what the Pink Stones are afraid to do.
Oh. Keep talking.
I think I've said all I need to
That's
say.
it.
Damn.
That's all.
Wow. You hear that, Adam?
We're
You
coming for
listening?
your throne.
You hear that, Hunter?
Yeah,
He-
you
no,
should
he
be
was on
shaking
here.
in your very cool boots.
I listened to that episode.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It's good.
Dude, Hunter's the man, but apparently he's afraid to do what Sex Cells does.
And he knows it.
He knows.
Walk it back. Walk it back. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Let's leave it there.
Yep.
Okay.
Next
Zach, what
question.
about- okay. Yeah, that's just all right. Cool. Let's do it.
Next
Number
question.
3.
Underrated artist at the moment.
Who do you think needs a little bit more shine
Oh
or
man.
deserves it?
For me, it's a band called Null.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were just
For
gonna end it
sure.
at for me.
Yeah. Wait.
nice.
What was? Repeat the question.
Most underrated bands. Underrated artist at the moment.
Oh, the Pink Stones.
Every answer is just gonna revolve around.
No. Yeah, probably Null. Taylor Swift.
For sure. One day she'll make it.
Yeah.
She doesn't need any help.
Underrated. It's hard for me because I don't feel like I know how things are rated.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I'm kind
Who
of
do you
out of touch,
just
yeah.
who's a band you love that you would love for everybody else to recognize how good they are?
Definitely Sex Cells for sure.
What about
But for a
not
serious-
Sex Cells?
Yeah,
Maybe them too.
maybe we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see after these next 2 shows.
Yeah.
My serious answer, all jokes and kidding and riddles aside, is Null.
No. Yeah. I know the name and I've never seen them.
They're really cool. Yeah, they're like post-punky. I
Cool.
think their technical genre is Adderall infused post-punk.
Whoa.
Or like
Is Carson Lillard in that band?
no, he
Okay.
is in. I think
know
if
he's in
that's his last name,
Aunt
Snooki.
Moth. Yeah,
And
and,
Aunt Moth.
Snooki.
Yeah,
And so the
Aunt
drummer
Moth.
for Snooki.
I think they all Null, like they all kind of run in the similar
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this because he plays in our band. I really am not. But Jack is the lead for Null.
Oh,
and writes all
okay.
the songs.
I
Yeah,
got you.
and I just think that it's like insanely good.
I'll have to give him a listen Because I've heard the name a million times.
Yeah,
and
you
I've
might
never-
not be able. They're on hiatus right now
Oh,
for at least
yeah,
a couple
that's-
months.
I forgot about that.
mind.
But they did work on some studio stuff, so we'll see.
is any of it out?
No.
Oh, okay.
But Jack is pretty fast and loose with sharing like the Google Drive links. If you
Nice.
catch him at a show and
That's
buy him
what
a
I
shot,
love.
he'll
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe I'll hit him up for the link. He'll be like,
Yeah.
"Who are you? What? No."
Okay, I have two that are tied. So there's Palehound.
Yeah, I know their name.
I
My friend really likes them.
I wish more people listened to Palehound because she writes some of the best, just hooky, poppy, little fucking fun songs. They're awesome, and her airy, raspy voice is like nothing else. Nothing else that I hear regularly. But she writes very hooky music. It's very digestible too. And that I think is tied with, for me at least, Sasami.
Yo, Sasami is awesome.
Her debut album blew my fucking mind.
I only know the new one. I've never listened to her older stuff.
The first album is very different. It's
Okay.
much more.
Which one is that?
It's much more
Oh,
shoegazy.
just this one.
Yes.
Okay.
We bought. I got the special edition red vinyl, and then she did this thing on Instagram. She said, first number of people who DM me, I will draw you or make you special art on that vinyl and send it to
Whoa.
you. I didn't take a picture of it, or I would show you, but we have one, and I think it's one of 50. She drew like faces on the mountains, but there's somebody who had like she collaged a jar of mayonnaise over her head on the album art. I wanted that one real bad. I'm like,
That's
I
cool.
got stiffed, but no, it's great, and I love having it. I'm an absolute sucker for that shit. But
Yeah.
my girlfriend and I have.
Personalizing it.
We saw her after the debut of that album when she says that I introduced her to Sasami, but I think she introduced it to me. Either way, we both love her. We saw her after her debut, and then when she released her metal album, we went and saw her again, and each show was very different, but they were both absolutely phenomenal. Have you seen her live?
No.
Next
I
time
wanna
she
see her.
tours, you got to make sure to see her. She's so much fucking fun.
Yeah, because I remember listening to Squeeze when this came out,
So
knowing
good.
nothing about her, and Skin a Rat. I was just like,
Skin a rat, yeah.
what the fuck?
she
And
is-
then the next song is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Say It is awesome. Call Me Home's great. Dude, what I love the most actually might be Make It Right.
Make it right, yeah.
Yeah, I love. It's like a country tune.
Yeah.
You know.
What's the Daniel Johnson cover on there?
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, it's Where the Wind Goes, That's Where I Go. I
I don't know.
can't remember the name of that one.
I'll have to re-listen to it.
But I had to have it pointed out to me. I'm not the biggest Daniel Johnson fan. I know of him and of most of his work.
One of those guys I really want to get into to feel cool. Mm-hmm. And I like
Yeah.
like one or two songs,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, those are my two picks. And Palehand's touring right now.
Oh,
In
okay.
case she's coming to Atlanta. Very fun live as well.
Yeah, my friend really likes her. I'll definitely have to go check that out. Whoops, sorry. That's Google password required notification that happens every day. Are we on question 4?
I believe so. Did you open one? And that was my second.
Cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was your.
Ooh, in the studio or playing live?
Playing live.
No hesitation.
None.
Why live?
Studio is a means to an end. Live is the ends to all of the other means. For sure, 100%.
It's the execution of the art.
For me, the goal at all, like I love being in the studio. It's very cool. Very grateful for it. Want to do it again, over and over and over, because we have way more songs than we have released. But in term, like that's just so that more people can listen to us and we can play to larger crowds. That's the end goal at all times.
They are a bit of a yin yang situation. I'm always going in the studio because I love getting to see something like go from a seed to it's complete. tree form or whatever the fucking expression is.
That's a perfect metaphor.
Yeah. No holes in that. And as much as I love playing live, and I didn't do it for a long time. And then when I started doing it again, I brought out like the love for it again. But to me, like, nothing is better than finishing a song and then listening to it a bajillion times over the course of the week and being like, I can't believe this exists now and that I will be able to share this with people. But that's just like where my heart is.
See, and if we're talking about the feeling of listening to the song, like in the car after all of that, versus the feeling of being on stage is still going to win for me. But it's a much closer contest. Versus being in the studio feels like a lot like other things feel for me, which is like I like it, I get something out of it. There are moments I really enjoy it, but I'm doing this because I want what comes from it. Versus being on stage, it's like, and this is what comes from it.
The thing.
Yeah,
I see that.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
That all being said, though, I do still stick to my answer, but I do obsessively listen to our working demos when I'm driving and working day to day. Like nonstop.
more than I listen to anything else. Really.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I caught myself today, actually. I was like, I haven't listened to any other music other than the stuff that we were working on, and maybe I should listen to something else right now.
Yeah, it is a bit of like, it can be cool to get so stuck in your own world that you are building your own world and there's no other influence. But at the same time, once you do start like taking in other influences, it's very eye-opening as to what is possible and what you can do. But I definitely relate to just like sticking into your own little world for a little bit and popping your head out every once in a while. Be like, what's going on out here? But yeah, what I love about the studio is what you said earlier about those little moments where it's just like, yes, this is it. Now we're on like the momentum. Like the train has left the station. Me with these fucking
I like that
metaphors
one a lot
today.
That one hit more than the last one did for me.
You know, it's a steady progress. But let's do question 5 before I do any more dumb metaphors.
Draw the last. You went right for it. It's in your lap. Take it.
She said, nope.
What?
That's the first rejection, I think, on the podcast. We won't even know what it is.
I can't do this second.
What is it? What is it?
Best and worst decade of music.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
This is a fun
Best
one.
is the 60s.
Great answer.
And the worst is the 1830s.
No. I don't let people get away with it
Damn
anymore.
it.
I used to, and I'm not playing nice anymore.
The worst.
It's usually 60s on.
80s.
I agree.
For sure.
Yep.
Great stuff came out of every time period. But I won't, no further comment. The 80s.
That is usually my answer, but I'll also say sometimes 2010s best instead of 60s. But there's a little
Bold.
bias. There's some
Bold.
bias there because that's
What's
when
the
I really
bias?
like, in high school,
It's when you get
just
to
like
music.
start to learn what kind of music you like and not just what your parents like. So,
Yep.
so there was that. But at the same time, a lot of the music that I discovered in the 2010s, I just associate with the 2010s, even though they're bands from like all time periods.
Right.
Like I think about
Gotcha.
Radiohead as 2010s, but
Interesting.
but
Yeah.
they're not, obviously. I mean, they put out stuff in 2010s, but like the ones I think about are In Rainbows, which was 2007 and all that. But yeah, in general, 60s is a great answer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I would say 70s for me. I'm
Is
just
your
now
favorite?
realizing I fiddle. Are you going to rewrite these?
Dude, no. It's
Okay.
funny. At least you didn't rip it like my last two guests.
I definitely did
They
a little
literally
bit.
like ripped it. I'm like,
Like on
bro.
purpose?
Well, the first one he did it accidentally, and then the second one he did it on purpose, but didn't realize. Not even on purpose, just like, what's the word? I don't know. He just did it without thinking about it, and I was like, dude. And he was like, oh shit, I'm sorry.
I've been
when
like putting them under my fingernails.
Oh, that's
'cause
cool.
I like the way it's not because I've been doing it right here into the mic.
Right into the microphone.
I'm so sorry.
When it comes to tiny pieces of paper,
I lose my cool.
If you're around Zach, you better not be a tiny piece of paper. Because you're
And
about
you
to
better
get
not
folded
fucking
up.
dance.
70s.
70s.
You're getting that synth sound, the beginnings of the good parts of the 80s. You getting all the cool, fun synth stuff with none of the
all those
gated.
like, Stevie Wonder albums with the crazy synths.
I love Stevie Wonder.
I went through a big Stevie Wonder phase last year when I started listening to like those 4 albums, like that 4-album run. It's insane.
Talking Book's good.
Yeah.
I
love
songs in the Key of Life is too long.
I thought that's the one you were gonna. I thought that you would have grabbed that one from over there.
I didn't even see it in there.
It is in there. My
Yeah.
friend Griffin gave it to me for a Christmas present.
My little brother gave that to me for a Christmas present.
Whoa.
Yeah, that Herbie
Is his
Hancock's
name
Headhunters. Actually,
That'd be crazy.
I have a 6th sibling now. 5th sibling. Yeah, he gave me that in Headhunters.
Cool.
Yeah, Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about an album that's long. It's 4 songs. It's like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Key of Life. It is very long. I will never sit and just put it and listen to it front to back. But the hits on it are insane. And even the ones that aren't hits are incredible. But, low key, I end up always putting on Fulfilling This first finale or whatever it's called, which is like, doesn't have like the big hits on it, but it has Boogie on Reggae Woman, which is insane. And
that song rules.
Birds of Freedom or Birds of something. I can't remember. But yeah.
Have you listened to the the Flower, the Arboreum album or whatever it is? He has like an aquarium album.
Oh, okay.
He has an aquarium album, then he has like a nature album, like about
Oh,
plants.
yeah. I've never actually listened to it.
That one has some.
I heard it's very controversial in terms of like how the fans feel about it.
It has 2 standout tracks. I think both of these are in it. There's a Race Babbling. That song will blow your mind.
Okay.
It like Contusions did for me on Songs in the Key of Life. Is it
Contusions?
Contusions?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think it's
That song just made me laugh when I heard it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Race Babbling and the flower outside your window, something like that. But that's a beautiful song. But then Race Babbling is just like, whoa, this is too funky. Too funky?
Okay. And that's on the Songs for Plants one?
I believe. I think that's the name of that album too.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Or is it Plantasia? Or is that
It's not
that's
Plantasia.
a
Plantasia
different
is totally
album?
different. Excellent album though.
Yeah. I've yet to delve into that.
But also Krautrock 70s.
True. I never like Can. Do you like Can?
Oh, I love Can.
I want to be cool and like Can.
Yeah, you're still cool. If you don't like Can, you're not cool for not liking Can.
I'm just trying to be, trying to be hip. Everybody, all the cool kids like Can. Like Radiohead loves Can.
If all the cool
Stephen
kids,
Malkmus loves Can.
for good reason.
He recorded a whole cover of the album.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wait,
he
really?
covered. Yeah, all of the one with the beans on it.
You could do that?
Or not beans,
The
okra.
screen-
I
It is
don't.
okra. No, you're right. It's okra. Yeah.
Do you know the album that we're talking about? I couldn't even tell you. It's something Benyasi or whatever. It's like a hard name to say.
It's wild. It's really fun.
But yeah, he definitely.
Is Can the? Never mind.
Can is the band.
Do they have that one song like Vitamin C? Is
yes.
that them?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I like
is
that
them.
song.
Yeah. Charlie talked about that one before. I remember.
Never mind. I hate it.
Yeah, dude. Right here, Stephen Malkmus
Oh my god.
covered the whole album, I think,
I'm going to listen to that later.
with somebody else. So yeah, there you go. 6 songs, 42 minutes. See, that's a hard thing for me to jump into personally.
I didn't need to answer the end of this question, so we can tie this up.
Oh yeah, what's the worst?
I gotta get
You
out of
guys
here.
are still listening. God bless.
The early 2000s, the 2010s, I guess would be my worst. I recognize that
Wait,
there are
early
lots.
2000s or the 2010s? Those are, you can't pick 20 years. This is
No,
not.
I realized I made a mistake there. The 2000s, early 2000s. I realized there are some albums in there that I like, but all the stuff that I have primarily attached to that, all the memories I have primarily attached to that, is all of the pop, all of the pop, and that's all I can think
You're
about.
really gonna throw
And,
Continuum by John Mayer in the trash.
Yes,
And
I've never been.
Amy
In
Winehouse
Rainbows.
in the trash.
I
Like
mean,
that.
there have to be some sacrifices, and these are
You're gonna
sacrifices
throw
I'm willing to
Limp
make.
Bizkit in the trash right now.
Yes,
Right now.
that's okay. That's okay for me.
I think we need to end this interview right now. It's just too sad. No, I have to agree. 2000s has some tough pop music, I feel like. But there is no right answer, which is why it's such a fun question. Yeah, that's it. Sex Cells. Thank you guys for coming on the podcast. This has been
This is
one of the most
awesome.
fun episodes I've ever done.
Cool.
Hands
This
down.
has been the most fun episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
Amazing.
For
We need to do
sure.
another.
Had a lot
Yeah.
of fun. Thanks for letting us talk so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a blast. And you guys
Yeah.
are playing at Bog Social August
12th, Saturday.
and then Flickr here
August
in Athens,
25th.
August 25th. Okay.
Friday.
So if you're listening, you're still listening, go check it out because it's going to be a blast. Will it be not Sex Cells?
Yes.
And for the foreseeable future, that will be the last two Not Sex Cells
Okay.
shows.
So catch Not Sex Cells
Yes.
August 12th and August
Playing
25th.
featuring covers of classic hits from the band known
Such
as Sex
as
Cells.
No
Such
Guilt.
as No Guilt and Dingbat and Normal. And
You guys should do an infomercial.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Okay.
That
Or
Yeah,
not.
we'll do that. Maybe not right now.
Yeah.
But
when
maybe.
you find the time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys again, Elizabeth and Zach from
Thank
Sex
you,
Cells. You guys
Parker.
rule. Thank you guys for coming on. I'll talk to y'all later.
Goodbye.
Thank you again for tuning into the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Remember, not only can you listen to the episodes on Apple Podcast and Spotify, but you can also watch the episodes on my YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time.